These days, Masterpiece Transformers are far more expensive than they ever have been. With that, we've got a lot of people jumping ship, jumping to the main line, jumping to Legends, and quitting Masterpiece altogether. Today I'm going to talk to you about how you can afford Masterpiece Transformers, share my experiences with you, kind of some of the things I look at, some things I do when I get 6 pre-order notifications that I got to pay for it. What goes through my mind? We're going to talk about this coming up. So it was really easy to collect Masterpiece in the early days, like I did in 2003 and got my MP01, and then I added one figure a year, and it was real simple to add a figure a year, but that's all that was coming out because Takara was the only game in town. And then they upped it to adding a big figure and a small figure and all that stuff. But I wised up and started buying duplicates because there wasn't much going on and it was real simple. Fast forward to today and we get 4 or 5 figures a month if you count the reissues, you count all the competition, all the companies, and there's a lot of money that you've got to outlay if you keep up with this hobby. The first thing I suggest you do to afford Masterpiece Transformers is to prioritize and plan. If you don't want to buy another cup, don't buy another cup. If you're happy with your Springer, stick with your Springer. Now, there's a couple of avenues to look at too, like, okay, I want to try them all out, sell the ones I don't like, and that works, that's fine. But if you're strapped for cash, you might not have that advantage. I remember there was a time when people were talking about picking between MP44 or buying HasLab Unicron, and I got both, but I do have to admit that did strap me for a bit, trying to get both of them around the same time frame. And I have to say that I'm kind of glad I swung for them both, but if I had to pick one or the other, it's kind of a tough choice. So the next thing I want to talk about is pre-order discounts. Now, one way to afford this hobby is to get on top of pre-order discounts. Part of the problem if you buy fans toys, you want to be part of the fans toys experience, you can't wait and see. You got to pre-order these things. You got to get them, and you got to figure out financially how you're going to handle that situation. Now that they've upped the price from what used to be a $150 figure is now a $220 figure, and what used to be for me $130 at Show Z is now $209 at Show Z. So that's kind of a challenge, and if you want to buy a duplicate to have in both modes, or in this case, triplicate to have in all 3 modes, you got to prioritize that too and decide, do you want to get on that? But the pre-order discounts at some places help because once it comes out, the price always seems to shoot up. You see, there was a time just a few years back where you could wait and see with every company. Fans Toys, X-Transbots, Fans Project, or whatever was going on, MMC. You could wait and see, watch a review, take a couple months to decide, and then say, you know what, I'll get a Fans Toys Rouge. Wait, it's $105, I'm going to wait another month. Oh wait, now it's $95. Okay, great, I'll buy it now. Cup, you know what, I didn't buy it this year, I'll buy it next year. The Fans Toys Coot for $80 instead of $100. So those days are gone. Now the prices are way higher and they sell out fast. So you got to jump on it or not be part of it, and the late tax will destroy you. Well, I don't know. The late tax destroyed me on Phoenix, but I love Phoenix. So I keep bringing it up. I'm a little sour about the price. I'm not sour at all about the figure. My next point is Swapouts. If you are in this game and you're on a serious budget, come on, break it down. We're all on some sort of a budget. I'm on a budget. You're on a budget. Swapouts aren't always necessary. I really do think that X-Transbots did a great job. Do you need Spindrift 2.0? You know what? This thing's still available to pre-order in a lot of places, and that's telling me smart masterpiece collectors are understanding not everything needs to get swapped out. The next point I want to bring up is buying, selling, and trading. That's a way to make things happen. I'm sure there was a point in time where if you had a Tesla 1.0, you could trade it for a Lupus and not really pay the late tax, just kind of swap it over. Now it probably is not as equal of a trade as it used to be because the alleged 2.0 Tesla's coming out. But the point is that if you have something already, you can trade it. Now, if you're new to the game and you don't have a backstock of stuff to trade, kind of what else do you have you can sell so that you can afford to buy this? There's a lot of different ways to look at affording buying Masterpiece Transformers, and of course, selling something that you have. Maybe it's something you used to collect. Maybe it's something else around the house. Maybe you want to have a garage sale. Maybe you're going to sell online, sell on eBay. Maybe you've decided that you're going to trade some stuff. But usually trades only work out within the same genres. Somebody offered me a set of speakers for a Tesla or a Lupus. Doesn't usually work out. My next point is if you really are new to the game or you're really needing to afford buying Masterpiece Transformers, there are other things you can do. You can get a second job. You can do a side hustle. You can do a lot of other things to generate some cash. I want to talk a little bit about a second job or doing a side hustle. If you get a second job or do a side hustle, you're doing two things to promote making money. Number one would be you generate a second income. That's obvious and that's in your face. But when you take the time away from your free time, you spend less money. This is a proven fact. This is something that most people don't understand about a second job or a side hustle. When you're putting all your time and effort to make money on the side, you are not spending money. And that's a double-edged sword sometimes, but for the most part, if it's not directly tied to your hobbies and you're doing something else as a side hustle, something else as a second job, you're going to not spend that extra money, so you're saving money while you're making more money, and that is definitely a help to fund your collection. I seriously lost count of how many side hustles, secondary jobs, and things I did to fund collecting for the last 25 years. My next point in affording collecting is talking about where do you buy from. There's a lot of factors that go into where you buy from. Some of these places charge tax, some do not, some charge shipping, some do not. So there's a lot to look at. I have found ShowZ is the lowest price for the most part. Now I understand I have over 9,000 subscribers. I have 5 people that show up as ShowZ haters for whatever reason. But guess what? It's hard to be a hater when you save enough money to get almost 5 figures for free a year. If you shop there and you're part of the premium, you might get 6 or 7 figures for free a year if you truly use them. But guess what? You can use anyone. You should shop around. Anywhere you find a better deal, buy it. BBTS just recently had a serious sale on X-Transbots Boost. Sold out in less than a day. Didn't even have enough time to really talk about it on my news, but it sold out quick, and X-Transbots Boost is not a horrible figure, but it's the best, well, only version on the market, and that's a great way to get that figure, and there's so many more sales and deals. Guess what? I'm always asking for you to tell me about the sales. I'm always looking to tell you about those kinds of deals. My next topic is sales. Obviously, sales are a big part of how you can afford this hobby. I want to point out that I'm showing you this Scorponok, and it's a Hasbro. It's not Masterpiece. It's the best version you can get for the money out there, and I doubt there's going to be an actual MP one on MP scale ever, and if there is, it's at least a decade away. Yes, minimum 10 years, minimum of 2031 till we get this, if Fans Toys, X Transbots, or MMC makes it. But I gotta say, we all expected to see this thing show up at Ollie's, show up on clearance at TF Source, show up as a Black Friday sale, but it never did. As a sign of the times, these things do not go on sale as often as they did, but if you wait for the sale, you might miss out and then be stuck looking at a $300 figure. Now, this is getting reissued because Hasbro reissues everything. If they could reissue their mother, they would. They have not yet. But I gotta say, this thing's coming back out in like June or July, but there's a lot of things to look at. Sales are good and great, but you can't count on them anymore like you could have 2 or 3 years ago. So, to close this out, let's unpack all of this. Prices have gone up from, some figures are only like $50 up, some are $70 up for the same size class from the exact same companies from not even a year ago, 10 months ago. It's crazy. It blows your mind. And if you're new to the game, I gotta say, pace yourself. Pick the figures you like the most. Go after them. And if something is way outside your budget, just don't buy it. Just wait for a reissue, wait for competition, wait for a trade, wait for a deal, wait for something. Join some groups, talk to some people, make some connections, figure some stuff out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Tydirium Hanger out.